The University of Alabama, Birmingham, number 15, John Mark Mullins. Batting third, a sophomore designated hitter from the University of Alabama, Birmingham, number 55, Joseph Eel. Batting cleanup, a redshirt freshman first baseman from UC Irvine, number 35, Josh Sheck. Batting fifth, a senior left fielder from Northwest Nazarene, number 12, Hayden Keller. Batting sixth, the redshirt freshman right fielder from Tarleton State, number 25, Colby Ferris. Batting seventh, the redshirt freshman catcher from Northwood University, number 17, Matt Magno. Batting eighth, the junior third baseman from Gardner Webb, number 8, Joe Brazil. Batting ninth, the freshman second baseman from Stephen F. Austin, number 20, Cal Campbell. And on the mound tonight for your Chinooks, a 6'4" sophomore right-hander from Earlham College in the Crossroads of America, number 32, Nate Hemmerich. The Chinooks enter play tonight with a record of 8-4, leading the Alaska Baseball League standings. Fans, at this time, if you will rise and remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem. Tonight's anthem singer is daughter of tonight's sponsor, Scott Bleeker, Lillian Bleeker.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Great job. Beautiful rendition. Okay, aren't you going to announce that from the
Ladies and gentlemen, our first pitch tonight thrown by today's sponsor, Scott Bleeker. Let's hear it for Scott Bleeker of Prime Lending. And now, fans, we have a very special message we would like to impart to you from a very special Chinooks fan.
Tonight, to get us started, we have Whitney. She's 7 years old. She goes to Chugiak Elementary. She's a big Chinook fan, and she told me she wants to hear Scott Bleeker's name a lot, the sponsor of our extra base hits for the Chinooks. So, Whitney, come on over. When you give me a chance to hold it in both hands. Okay, anytime you're ready.
Play ball! Good job!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Lee Jordan Field here in beautiful Chugiak, Alaska, as the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks, who are sitting atop the ABL standings right now, will take on the Anchorage Bucs, who are winners of 3 straight coming into today. So 2 very hot teams playing today, so it should be an exciting one. So let's take this time and quickly go over the defense and lineup for the Chinooks tonight. Number 10, Will Batts will be leading off, playing center field. John Mark Mullins, the shortstop, batting second. Joe Keel, the designated hitter tonight, will be batting third. Josh Scheck at first, batting cleanup today. Hayden Keller will be in left and batting fifth. Colby Ferris in right field, batting sixth. Matt Magno, the catcher, will be batting seventh. Joe Brazil, making his first start of the season for the Chinooks, will be batting eighth and playing third base. And Cal Campbell will be at the Keystone tonight, batting ninth. The pitcher for the Chinooks will be Nate Hemmerich, making his first start of the season. So we'll definitely look to see how long he'll be allowed to go. From my brilliant sources, they have told me that Nate will be more of an opener tonight. So you'll see probably him go for 2, maybe 3 innings. And then he will turn it over to, my guess will be Nelson Schutte to go long relief today. The Chinooks are now in the back third of a 3-game homestand and a back fourth of 4 straight games for the Chinooks. As I stated earlier, they're taking on the Bucs tonight. And tomorrow, and as well as Sunday, they will have 2 days off. So much needed rest for the Chinooks, as they are by far have played the most games so far this season. 12 so far, with the next most would be 9. And the first pitch for today is up and outside for ball 1. Another trifecta of interviews for you guys in the chat today, so be sure to stick around for that. We have Josh Harrel, one of the primary relievers for the Chinooks, as that one's fouled back. Josh Harrel, again, one of the primary relievers for the Chinooks, will be joining us in the top of the 2nd inning. And then shortly after that, in the bottom of the 3rd inning, Pate Fullerton will be joining us here. Very excited to have both those guys. And should Nate Hemmerich actually be more of an opener for the Chinooks tonight, we'll be having him actually join us post-appearance sometime around the 5th inning. I'm not exactly sure if it's the top or the bottom, or perhaps it might be after that, as that one's in there for a called strike too. But Nate Hemmerich will be joining us in the studio, so be sure to stick around for that, guys. I'm very, very excited to have those 3 guys in here, as we have been on the interview grind over the last week or so, and it's been a lot of fun, and I hope it's been a lot of fun for you guys too, as that pitch is outside for ball 3. So Nate Hemmerich forcing a full count here to open up the ball game, as Woody Haydeen, the second baseman for the Bucs, leading off tonight. And the 3-2 is swung on and missed. So a good bounce back there from Hemmerich, as despite the full count, he's able to work a strikeout. And that will be the first out of the game and of the inning. And the Chinooks are in the middle of what's got to be somewhat of an unprecedented stretch here for their pitching staff, as they have gone over 33 innings without giving up a run so far. And I know you're probably thinking, Tyler, knock on wood. You know what? I said it about 5 times yesterday. I think we're all right. But just in case for all of you, there you go. I'm sure you heard the knock. So we'll continue to monitor that as this game goes along, but an absolutely torrid stretch. And it's been absolutely amazing to watch, as that pitch is just downstairs for ball 2. So Hemmerich having a little bit of control issues so far early on, although it hasn't hurt him up to this point, as he sits now down 2-0 here on Ernie Yake, the shortstop for the Bucs, as that one's in there for a called strike. So a 2-1 count here to Ernie Yake, who again is playing shortstop for the Bucs tonight. And the 2-1 is swung on and flown high in the air out to left field. Shallow for Hayden Keller, who comes on to make the catch for the second out of the inning. So a good start so far for Hemmerich. Although I'm sure I'm sure his teammates and his
Now
coaches would
batting
like
for
to
the
see him
Bucs,
throw a little
first
more
baseman
strikes,
number
but
26,
definitely
Jake
been
Skipworth.
not been too harmful so far. So now Jake Skipworth, the first baseman for the Bucs, will step up to the plate and look to get something going for the Bucs here in the top of the first. First pitch from Hemmerich is in there for a called strike one. And Nate Hemmerich, a great story, obviously. He's, I think I mentioned this before on streams, but just in case. He's coming back from a torn labrum, which I know personally is a very difficult injury to come back from. During the COVID year, he found out he tore his labrum and he had to have surgery for that. And it's notoriously one of the most difficult surgeries to come back and be the same from. And Nate Hemmerich has certainly done an amazing job with that, as that one is ripped into center field, but pretty much right to Will Batts, and he will settle under it to make the catch for the third out of the inning. So another quick inning and another scoreless inning for the Chinooks as we head to the bottom of the first, where the Chinooks will look to get out to an early lead against the Bucs here tonight.
Step up to the plate for the first time this evening. The Chukiak Eagle River Chinooks would like to thank tonight's game sponsor, Scott Bleeker of Prime Lending, for sponsoring today's rendition of the Chukiak Eagle River Chinooks. The Chinooks would also like to remind you that there is no climbing of the fences of any kind here at Lee Jordan Field and at the Loretta French Sports Complex. Once again, a friendly reminder, the Chukiak Eagle River Chinooks prohibit climbing of the fences of any kind here at Lee Jordan Field. Thank you for your cooperation and for your attendance at this evening's ball game.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network as we are serenaded by a saxophone solo by Kenny G, which means Will Batts will lead off for the Chinooks. He is back in the lineup tonight after getting a much-needed day of rest yesterday, and we had a great interview with him. Very, very nice guy. Definitely one of the most outstanding players and just overall human beings on the Chinooks. And it's definitely been a pleasure getting to know him over the last 2 weeks, as that pitch is in there for a called strike one, and that pitch is downstairs for ball one. So let's quickly go over the defense and lineups for the Bucs, as that one's just inside. So Woody Haydeen at second base, batting leadoff tonight. Ernie Yake, the shortstop, batting second. Jake Skipworth, the first baseman, batting third. Jack Mactoff, the left fielder, batting fourth. Cole Carrig, designated hitter tonight, batting fifth. Matt Erickson behind the plate, batting sixth. Carson Rockefort, the right fielder, will be batting seventh. Diego Bacchero, couldn't read my own handwriting there for a second. Diego Bacchero, the third baseman, will be batting eighth. And Garrett Ostrander, the center fielder, will be batting ninth. Diego Barrera on the mound tonight for the Bucs. And he has looked pretty impressive so far in the limited pitches that we've seen. Looks like he's got some good off-speed stuff as the count moves full, and that pitch is inside. And I couldn't exactly tell if that hit Will, but I do believe it did hit him. So that will go down not as a walk, although it would have been ball four anyway, but it will go down as a hit by pitch. And now John Mark Mullins will step up to the plate here with Will Batts and his speed on first. So you know you love to see that, and the Chinooks would absolutely love to get out to an early lead here. And as you can see here, John Mark Mullins batting righty. Haven't seen that too often this year, if we've seen it at all, but he is a switch hitter. And that pitch is upstairs. looked like I didn't know if the umpire was going to give the call there. He kind of turned, but that ball was upstairs, so the count moves to 1-0 on John Mark Mullins, as if he hasn't been impressive enough, showing his versatility as he's batting righty here, and that pitch is in there for a called strike. So we'll see how the right-handed at-bat here compares to his left-handed ones so far this year, as he's quickly down 1-2, as Diego Barrera has thrown a lot of strikes so far, although he's also thrown a lot of balls. And a throw over as Bats, wow, had to scamper back. And he does get back safely, although I would recommend sliding from now on, as that was pretty close. Good move there from Barrera for sure. And another move over to first, and that time Will Bats gets back pretty safely. And the 1-2 to Mullins is downstairs. Good pitch there, but was not chased after. And you can, I'm not sure if you guys can see from the live stream, but I can certainly see it from here, the late break that Barrera has on a lot of his pitches. And a fake throw over, and that time Will Bats slides in, although the ball wasn't there, so. Unfortunate there. So the count moves to 2-2, as that one is driven high in the air out to straightaway center field, as Ostrander will settle under it and make the catch for out number 1. So John Mark Mullins retired for the first out of the inning. And now Joe Keel, the designated hitter today, will step up to the plate. He's gotten a couple of days of some well-deserved rest. It's definitely his arm and his legs needed some rest, and he was able to get some. So he'll step up to the plate as a designated hitter tonight. And we'll also get 2 days off, as will the rest of the Chinooks, tomorrow and Sunday. So hopefully Joe will be fresh and ready to roll, as will the rest of the Chinooks after that long break, as that one is downstairs. So the count moves to 1-0. And Barrera has done a good job of keeping Will Bats kind of cornered over there at first base. We'll see if Bats wants to get going here. And not this time, as that one's downstairs for ball 2. So a good hitter's count here for Keel, as I'm sure he'd love nothing more than to drive one into the gap here. Get something rolling for the Chinooks. And the 2-0 is outside, as Erickson maybe looked to throw over to first, but couldn't handle that as he lost it on the transfer. So regardless, the count moves to 3-0 here on Joe Keel. And one thing that the Chinooks have really done a great job of the last few games is making a starter throw a lot of pitches for the opposing team, as Joe Keel draws a walk. So 2 base runners here early on for the Chinooks, as Diego Barrera has certainly thrown a lot of pitches so far. And so we will see what Josh Sheck can do with this RBI opportunity, as he's batting cleanup tonight, as the lineup's been shuffled around a little bit. And obviously he's a little bit new, so maybe we haven't noticed as much as we did for John Mark, but Sheck is also a switch hitter, as that one is swung on and missed. So some of the guys getting to show off their versatility here. And a big cut there from Sheck, but he didn't get it. And I know Barrera would love to get something going here, as that one's in there for a called strike too. So after walking the last man on 4 pitches, he's quickly up 0-2 here. So good bounce back so far for Barrera, as he gets the pitch he wants. And he fires, and that one is inside, and it appeared to hit him. So the second hit by pitch for the Chinooks here, And that will mean the bases will be loaded for Hayden Keller, who was able to get off the schneid so far early in the season with his last at-bat, got his first hit of the season for the Chinooks so far. And you know he would absolutely love to get another knock here and get the Chinooks an early lead. And a quick meeting between Erickson and Barrera at the mound just to try and calm Barrera down as he's walked a guy and hit 2 more men. And as nasty as his pitches have looked so far, it doesn't really help if you're hitting and walking guys. Ends up just hurting you in the end if you can't control the pitches that you have. And the 0-0 will be swung on and grounded through the hole for a base hit. So 1-1 will score. Joe Keel will be waved around, and the throw will go into second base. So that means the Chinooks will have an early 2-0 lead on the 1-out bases loaded base hit by Hayden Keller. And that was a big-time at-bat there.
Now batting for your Chinooks, a redshirt freshman.
And on top of that, Josh Scheck was able to advance to third base.
Colby Ferris.
So now Colby Ferris will step up to the plate as the Chinooks have taken an early lead here, in which they did the same thing last night. And when your pitching staff has been as dominant as the Chinooks pitching staff has, sometimes 2 runs can feel like 10. And so you know the Chinooks would love to pile on a little bit here off of Diego Barrera. And that pitch is outside. And let's just be honest, guys, Barrera has simply just not looked sharp so far in this one. But it is still early, and there's plenty of time for a pitcher to figure out the issues and settle in. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out as the 2-0 pitch is in there for a called strike to Colby Ferris, playing right field tonight. He, at this point, is one of the last guys for the Chinooks to not get a day off so far, so you have to wonder if fatigue might start to set in. My guess is no, as that one is flown high in the air out to reasonably shallow center. We'll see if they test the arm, and they will not. So not deep enough to score a run there, so Colby Ferris flies out. And Josh Scheck will hold at third, so 2 outs here for the Chinooks, and as you hear that familiar sound, that means Matt Magno will step up to the plate. And Matt Magno swung a hot bat yesterday, as he went 2 for 3 with a triple and a run scored, so definitely had a good game despite the low-scoring output for both teams. So he definitely had a good day at the plate, as he'll certainly look to build off that. And he also got on base 3 times in the last game, or in the previous game before yesterday. So definitely we'll look to continue that as he quickly falls down 0-2 here, though. So Diego Barrera looking to bounce back after giving up 2 runs. And he's well on his way here, and we will see his 0-2 is in there for a called strike 3. So Matt Magno goes down, looking to end the inning, but the Chinooks do strike first here as they will head to the top of the second inning with a 2-0 lead.
Through 1 complete or score, the Chinooks 2, the Bucs 0. Fans, this Chinooks call to the bullpen is powered by Shop 180. Now pitching for your Chinooks, a sophomore right-hander out of the Masters University, number 14, Nelson Schutte.
All right, and we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube as Nate Hemmerich does his job as the opener, gets through the first inning, and now Nelson Schutte, as I proclaimed earlier, will take over for him, although albeit a little earlier than I expected. But that is not the most important thing right now. What is the most important thing right now is that we are joined by a very special guest, Josh Harrel, one of the primary relievers out of the Chinooks bullpen so far this year, has joined us in the studio. Josh, how you doing today, man?
Pretty good, Tyler. Happy to be up here in Alaska playing baseball.
Awesome, man. So why don't you just tell all the fans at home just a little bit about yourself for those who might not know you?
Like as a player?
Anything you want. Who you are as a person, who you are as a player, whatever you feel like you want the people to know at home. There's no right or wrong answer. I promise. This isn't a test.
I'm just happy to be up here just playing baseball, learning more about myself every day as a person and as a player, and just being around these guys, just a great group of guys. We're all looking out for each other, and we, whenever it's game time, we're all battling for each other, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Awesome, man. And so the first pitch of the inning is downstairs as Jack Mactoff will step up to the plate for the Bucs. So, Josh, I've asked a lot of pitchers this question, and it's going to be similar for you because I definitely just want to hear your thoughts on it. I mean, this has to be some kind of unprecedented run that the Chinooks pitching staff has been on, and you have been a huge part of that. Obviously, now we're up to roughly 34 scoreless innings consecutively for the Chinooks. And obviously, you've pitched several of those, and you've watched all of them. What have you seen from your pitching staff so far that has impressed you the most?
Well, first of all, we're all aware of what's going on. It's kind of those things. We're going to talk more about it when it's over with. But just the staff as a whole, we're just confident with our stuff. We're just throwing strikes, and we're just letting the game play itself out. And sometimes that's about all you can do. And all these guys are doing a great job of it. So.
And a broken bat there for Cole Carey, and that's unfortunate. Hopefully he has a backup. So, Josh, why don't you tell the fans at home a little bit about your story? I know we've talked several times, we've gotten to know each other over the last 2 weeks. It's been a pleasure. I know you told me like how recently you just started to learn how to pitch, and I think that the fact that you have come out here and just kind of, you're very, very new to the position that you play, and to pitch as well as you have, despite not a lot of experience, has been phenomenal. So why don't you tell the fans at home a little bit about that?
Well, so I've always pitched, but it was never it was just go up there and just throw the ball and just have fun type deal. Mm-hmm. And then first year of college, it's kind of the same thing. And then second year, they wanted me to focus more on it. And then now it's all I do. So just being around this team and these coaches who are smart and helping me out, and just learning more every day, learning stuff from everybody. Obviously, Coach Chris Beck's great with that. Honus has been a great help too, just talking to me every day, just sharing some wisdom. So I'm just trying to get a little bit better each day, and I love pitching. I enjoy it a lot, so I'm happy to be doing it.
Awesome. So you kind of touched on how, like, you know, when you were in high school and probably before that, you were kind of thrown on the mound there, but didn't really have much formal teaching on the matter. You just kind of going up there and throwing it. How much mental anguish does that kind of put you in? Because, I mean, I've had formal pitching training since I was probably 12 years old, and I mean, I've had guys that pitched in the minors and major leagues teaching me throughout my whole life. And I've been absolutely blessed, and not everybody can say that, to be fair, but at the very least, people could probably say that they've had some sort of coaching. And I could not imagine how much anguish I would have gone through if I were to have gone up there. I mean, you know how nervous people get before they go out and pitch, and I'm sure you're a little bit of the same as well. Like, how does that play with your mental, with your mentals up there?
Well, as far as just lessons and being new to it, I mean, I grew up getting tons of hitting lessons and tons of help with that. And I never did with pitching, and so it can be frustrating at times. But I just have to, like I said, Chris and Honus, they've been helping me out with this. I just gotta trust the process and not worry about the results coming soon, because I mean there's a lot that goes into pitching mechanics, and I mean I am pretty new to it, so it does get frustrating at times, but I've just got to trust the process and just keep doing what I can do.
Absolutely. So I've said this a couple times on stream, but you kind of have this squat that you do before you throw every pitch. Can you kind of explain to the folks at home? Because I've done my kind of prior pitcher knowledge spiel on that specific thing, but I'm obviously not you. So I kind of wanted to see if you could explain your reasoning and what that does for you to the people at home.
Well, so I've gone back and I've listened to the live streams, and so you pretty much hit it nail on the head. It's just it just helps me kind of feel my legs a little bit, because I plan on using them. I don't always do that very well, but I started doing that I think February this year, one day in an inter squad, and I started doing it because my legs were sore and I was just trying to loosen them up before I throw, and then I've just kind of done it ever since. So not really sure if it helps, but
and that one gets away from Magno, and that will head to the backstop. So Jack Mactoff will take second base on the wild pitch, and the count will move full.
Not really sure how much it helps, but I mean it's part of my part of my routine now, so I guess I'll keep doing it.
Hey, well, if it works, then there's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely. So switching a little bit from baseball to kind of just kind of what happens outside of the baseball field here. So what is your mentality on your off days? Obviously, as a reliever, you kind of have to be ready to go whenever. As a good play there from Joe Brazil as he snagged that one, kept the runner at bay, and throw on to first for the second out of the inning. So anyway, sorry, I'll continue. So, what's your mentality on an off day? Are you kind of a hiking guy? Do you kind of, just like to relax, maybe go fishing? Are you kind of a sightseeing guy? Are you just kind of a stay home, maybe go to a little restaurant kind of guy? Like, what is your mentality as a pitcher on a day off?
I'm definitely trying to get my Alaska experience in. I came up here to, play baseball, grow closer to God, and make new friends. But from the Alaska standpoint, I came up here to enjoy it, not to be smart. So on my off days, I'm not too worried about getting rest. Like Monday, we hiked a total of 14 miles, and I plan on going fishing this weekend. So I'm trying to get the Alaska experience in as much as I can.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. I think after the first hike I went on, I'm going to be taking a break from hiking after a while, as I hope you will after a 14-mile hike. That seems a little excessive.
I've got 3 hikes in. I think I'm just wanting to fish from now on.
That makes sense. And speaking of fishing, a guy that we've got that's come in here and talked about how much he loves fishing is Zach Sundine.
Yeah, Zach's actually. If I have any questions, he's the guy I'm going to.
There you go.
I was asking him a bunch earlier, so.
There you go. So, I mean, he has not only been one of the most impressive pitchers on the Chinook staff, but he's been one of the most impressive pitchers in the ABL, and honestly, that probably any of us in this booth have seen in quite some time.
Zach's just
fantastic.
He's just incredible to watch, and for those who don't know, this is his last go around at being a player. He's all out of eligibility after this, and I mean, he leaves everything out there. All of us in the bullpen, we love every day he starts. We love watching him, just the way he carries himself out there. He pours everything into each and every pitch, and he's been absolutely terrific this year. He's been a joy to watch.
Absolutely. So is there anything that you've seen specifically from him that impresses you more than maybe just kind of an average pitcher that you've either played with or seen?
He's just a gamer. I mean, his last start, he got in a couple of jams, and he did have some defensive help getting out of those. We had a triple play. But, he gets in those jams, and he just keeps competing, just, keeps staying in, doesn't, just one pitch at a time attitude. And that's just something that I think all of us pitchers and even the hitters can learn from.
That's awesome. I appreciate that insight. And this is a pretty big moment here as Nelson Schutte has worked himself into a full count. And the full count is inside. So Carson Rockefort will take a walk here, as now there are runners on first and second. And 2 outs here. So still 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning. So, Josh, what exactly is your mentality on maybe the day after you pitch. So, like, you kind of are reasonably sure if you pitch in the 9th inning on, say, Tuesday, on Wednesday, you're probably not going to end up going in there again unless it's an absolute emergency. So what's your mentality on a day like that where you kind of know you're really not going to pitch?
I'd say I really don't treat it all that much different. Being in the bullpen is a lot different than being a starting pitcher or a position player. Whether I know I'm going to pitch or not, I'll still go through all my stretching and get loose and play light catch, and then just hang out in the bullpen. And if I'm asked to warm up, I will, and if not, then I'll just stay down there. Just try to be ready to go every day, even if I pitched the day before. So I don't really treat it all that much different. Now, if I threw a certain amount of pitches where I knew for sure I wasn't going to pitch, then I probably wouldn't stretch and go through that stuff. I'd probably just take the day easy. But
Gotcha. So, obviously, you talked about getting a lot of hitting training. I know that you've hit a little bit in college and hit in high school. What is it that you miss the most about playing every day in terms of playing the field and hitting?
I don't really miss defense. I was never good at that. And then hitting in games, it was fun, especially whenever you'd barrel one up. But I just miss the hitting and batting cages.
And that ball is drilled into the right center gap for a base hit. And they will wave around Mactoff as the Bucs will get a run here, as they will cut the lead in half, as the Chinooks will now have a 2-1 lead.
And there goes the scoreless
There
inning
it
streak,
goes.
Tyler. Which is,
Well, you know, it couldn't last forever, but still an unbelievable stretch.
It was unbelievable, and that's we don't really like to talk about it while it's going on. So I kind of avoided the question earlier, but now
I'm
it's over
sorry.
with. So I just I think us pitchers understand how hard it is to hit with wood bats, and then especially in this league, the lighting's kind of weird. So that's just given us the confidence to go out and just throw our best stuff. And we had a great run. Obviously, Zach Sundine a big part of that. Nelson Schutte a big part of that. Carson Cody yesterday, huge part of that.
Yeah.
And then the bullpen guys, Honus and JoJo and Reese,
And yourself.
and Nate. We've all played a big part of it. And so it was a fun ride to be on, and looks like this next inning will start it all over again.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, and the only reason that I asked it was because we were talking about it for a good amount of the game yesterday. So at that point, if we were going to jinx it, we would have jinxed it a while ago. So
Yes.
it's not like those NBA commentators where they say Kevin Durant hasn't missed a free throw all postseason and then he immediately breaks one. It wasn't like that. So, so now that I guess it's over, I can ask you a question about it, I suppose,
Yes, go
and
for
not
it.
feel too bad about it. I didn't want to actually ask you how it made you feel and exactly what the secret has been. But now that it's over, I suppose I can ask, as that one's ripped into center field for a base hit. So the wheels have fallen off a little bit here for the Chinooks, as they've given up 3 two-out base runners here and now 2 runs. So anyways, what has been the key factor for you guys, at least in your minds being the ones on the field and out there on the mound? What has been the key factor in that scoreless streak?
Well, I kind of sound like I'm being repetitive here, but it's just starters, it's a little bit different approach, because they're trying to go a long time. But coming out of the bullpen, but really just pitching in general, our job is to just throw strikes and just try to throw our best pitches and throw them over the zone and just let the game play out. And, sometimes you'll throw good pitches and the hitters will make good swings, and sometimes you'll throw bad pitches and they'll make bad swings. So it's just throwing strikes and just letting the game play itself out. There's really not a whole lot else you can do.
That makes sense, yeah, and certainly it has been an amazing few games. And so
I will point out real quick before you ask another question.
No, go ahead.
Everybody's wanting to give the pitchers credit for the scoreless streak, but the defense has been absolutely unreal.
Absolutely.
The amount of web gems that we have on this team, the amount of diving plays whenever they don't even make the play, but they're still giving the effort, and then our catchers, Matt and Joe, just calling great games. It's been an all-around team effort. It's been fun to be a part of.
Absolutely. So, Schutte here, looking to get himself out of a jam. And the 1-2 is upstairs. And the 2-2 is upstairs, and that'll get by Magno, and that's going to get to the backstop. So now the runners will move up 90 feet, and the Bucs have a chance to take the lead here with 2 outs. So, Josh, you mentioned Matt and Joe, obviously. So what has it been like for you coming here and having to build relationships with 2 whole new catchers that you've never played against, played with, anything like that? Has it been a challenge? Has it been fun? Has it been somewhere in between?
So I don't think I've actually thrown to Matt in a game yet, but it's been pretty smooth sailing so far. I mean, they're great ball players. They've been catching our bullpens, catching us warm up. So just they call the pitches and just kind of got to flow with it and just trust them. And then they'll get better at calling for us as the year goes on, and hopefully we'll develop more trust with them as the year goes on. But
Awesome.
I used to be a catcher, so I try not to shake offs a lot, just because I know the catcher's usually right. So
That makes sense. Yeah, some of my worst baseball decisions were involving shaking off a catcher. So definitely, I'm right there with you. So what has been the most challenging thing for you since being up here? Has it been anything involving the competition? Has it been, I've even heard, there's no nighttime obviously here, so that's been a huge challenge for some guys. So what has been the biggest challenge for you?
the sunlight really hadn't been that big a problem for me. After a couple days, I seemed to fit right in. Got a great host family.
That one is driven out to right field, and Colby Ferris will move onto the track to make the catch. So that will end the long top of the second inning as Ernie Yake flies out. So the Bucs will tie up the game here. And Josh, I'm not sure how much more time you have, but do you think you could join us for another half inning or so?
Yeah, I'll stay up here.
Awesome. That sounds good. So we will be back with some more for Josh Harrel when we come back in the bottom of the second.
Leading off the bottom of the second for your Chinooks, a junior third baseman from Gardner Webb, number 8, Joe Brazil.
All right, and we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network as we head to the bottom of the second, and a very long top of the second, I should say, as Diego Barrera comes back on the mound, and he certainly had a tumultuous bottom of the first, as well as a long wait in the top of the second, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. And once again, we are still joined by Josh Harrel. And Josh, again, wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time to join us here. Obviously, I know that you're a late inning guy, so perhaps you're not doing too much in the early innings, but I do appreciate you taking some time coming up here, man.
Yeah, I don't even put my cleats on until about the 7th inning goes around, so I don't do much early in the games. Eat a lot of snacks and play a lot of games down in the bullpen. So
there you go. So one thing I have been wanting to ask you, all the mild success that I had in high school and college, One thing that I never had was a curveball. I had a slider, as that one's ripped into left field for a base hit. So Joe Brazil in his first start, in his first at-bat, gets a base hit. So good start for him.
It was a good job. It was a good job to wait back on that changeup there. That was a pretty good changeup too.
Absolutely. So I never had a curveball. I always threw I had a fastball, a slider, and a changeup. And your curveball is obviously one of your best pitches, and I can't really see from here. So why don't you kind of take me through your process, how you throw your curveball, what kind of curveball is it, different things of that nature. Because quite frankly, I really have no clue. I couldn't tell you what kind of curveball you had or anything like that.
So I throw a knuckle curveball or a spike curveball, whatever you want to call it. And I actually didn't throw it until I got to college. High school, I was just mainly fastball, and then I just had a slider. And when I first started throwing it, I mean, it wasn't bad. I had enough confidence to throw it. And then one day, this in our spring season, in a bullpen before the season started, it just started exploding. I just started throwing it a lot harder, and it just started having a lot more spin, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. And so it's definitely my best pitch. And, I mean, if the catcher calls it 10 times in a row, I'm not going to shake him off. I'll throw it 10 times in a row. I like throwing it a lot. My focus on it is to try to spin it really hard and then just try to keep it on the same plane as a fastball so it doesn't pop up out of the hand. But, so, yeah, I spike my index nail into the ball, and I grip it like on the two seams like you would a two-seam fastball. I don't grip it down on the horseshoe like most pitchers grip their curveball. And I do that because I feel like I'm more in the middle of the ball and more in control of it. I just feel more powerful with that grip than down on the horseshoes. But it's been a pitch that's just been a blessing. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and I've enjoyed throwing it for the last 6 months.
There you go. And a swing and a miss. So Will Batts goes down on strikes, and after a leadoff single, the Chinooks are in danger of getting nothing in this inning as John Mark Mullins will step up to the plate. So we talked a little bit about the defense for the Chinooks and how important it has been to the pitcher's success, and that certainly goes without saying. And one of those guys is the guy up to the plate right now, John Mark Mullins. What has he meant to you guys, not just yourself, but also as a whole pitching staff so far this year?
It's been awesome. Just he's obviously made a lot of flashy plays, but we've have other guys, they're all giving effort. It just gives us pitchers that confidence to just throw strikes, knowing we have those guys back there. And then JM, day in, day out, is the same consistent guy back there. Hustles for every ball, smooth with it, and then got a great arm and seems to always be right on the money too. So it's been awesome to watch. Every time there's a ball hit up the middle, we're all, we all get on our toes, waiting to see something special happen. And he usually doesn't disappoint. So
awesome. So John Mark Mullins, again, batting from the right side of the plate. Normally bats from the left, but he's a switch hitter as that one is popped high in the air toward the right field line. But Woody Haydeen will move over to make the catch for out number 3. And unfortunately, that does mean the end of our interview here, Josh. I do appreciate you coming in here, but is there anything that you'd like to say to the people at home before you head out?
Hi, everybody. I don't have much. Thanks for having me on, Tyler.
Oh, no problem, buddy, and we hope to have you back on here soon. Again, thank you so much for spending some time with us up here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right.
Fans, at this time, the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks are giving away one of 3 red ticket gift giveaways. So at this time, if you'll take out your red tickets now. Our first winning red ticket number is ticket 2225734. Our first winning ticket number, 2225734. Take your winning ticket to the Chinook Shack to claim your prize from Signature Hair Salon. Leading off the top of the third for the Bucs, first baseman number 26.
All right,
Jake
ladies and gentlemen,
Hemmerich.
we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube, and a great interview from Josh Harrel. Definitely appreciate him coming up here and giving us a little bit of his time. Very grateful for him. He has been one of my favorite people to get to know over the last couple of weeks. He's a great guy, very, very nice guy, willing to open up and talk about a lot of stuff. So definitely appreciate him coming on here and giving us a little bit of his time. So Nelson Schutte back out there for the Chinooks. And Jake Skipworth will lead off for the Bucs as that one's tapped over to John Mark Mullins, who throws on to first for the first out of the inning. So good start there for Schutte as he gets the first guy out. And I know he'll look to bounce back from a tough inning.
Jack Mactoff.
And we all know that the scoreless streak had to end at some time. And what a streak it was. I mean, just an absolutely unbelievable pitching performance from this entire staff over the last 4 or so games. Just an unbelievable moment for them.
That foul ball brought to you by Three Bears Alaska.
And they should certainly be very proud of what they did over the last 34 innings. And that one is outside. And, of course, like Josh said, give a lot of credit to the defense of the Chinooks. They have been outstanding. I've seen triple plays. I've seen guys being thrown out at third in order to prevent a run from scoring. I've seen a lot of double plays. I've seen jumping catches. I've seen diving catches. I've seen catches in the alley. I mean, you've seen it all over the last 4 or so games from the defense. And so a big part of that streak certainly goes to the defense. But now it's time to focus on the present and the future. And the present right now is Nelson Schutte looking to bounce back from a rough second inning as he looks to eat up some innings for the Chinooks, as that one is tapped foul down the left field line and out of play. And don't forget, we still have 2 more interviews to happen today, as Pate Fullerton will be joining us in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and Nate Hemmerich will be joining us sometime in the 5th inning. So definitely looking forward to that. As that one is popped high in the air, but playable in foul territory. John Mark Mullins moving over to make the catch. Tough play, but he made it look easy, as he normally does. And so
now batting for the Bucs, designated hitter number 13, Cole Carrick.
Now Cole Carrick, the designated hitter, will step up to the plate. He popped out to second base in his first at-bat, which occurred last inning. So Nelson Schutte looking to bounce back here now that a little bit of pressure must be off. As definitely talking to some of the guys, they were like, yeah, we definitely don't want to be the one to give up a run. But you know what? Now that it's happened, the pressure's off, and you can get back to just being yourself and throwing strikes, doing the best that you can. So Schutte up 0-1 here on Carrick. And his 0-1 is swung on and missed. Big swing from Carrick, but he did not get it. So the count moves to 0-2. So both the Chinooks and Bucs are winners of 3 or more straight. Obviously, the Chinooks are winners of 4 straight. Bucs are winners of 3 straight. And the Bucs had a rough start to the season, starting 1-4. Now they have moved up to 4-5, so still below 500, but certainly well on their way over the last couple of games. And the 1-2 is outside for ball 2, so the count moves to an even 2-2. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for joining us here tonight, as I know there's a lot of things you could be doing, as that one rides in and hits Carrick. So 2-out hit by pitch for the Bucs, and now Matt Erickson, who grounded out in his last at-bat, will look to keep this inning
now
going.
For the Bucs, catcher number 36, Matt Erickson.
And before I forget, because I am prone to forget these types of things, yesterday I did ask a trivia question that I never got the answer to for one reason or another, so I will re-ask that question here, but don't worry. Well, I'm going to ask the question real quick, but that will be the 3rd out of the inning. The question is,
Top of the third for the Bucs. No runs on, no hits, no errors.
as
One
of
man
this
left.
game
Number
today,
3.
who has the
Five,
highest
Phillies.
whip of any pitcher on the Chinooks pitching staff? And whip stands for walks and hits per innings pitched. So who has the lowest whip of any pitcher on the Chinooks pitching staff right now? That is the question. And while you all focus on that, I will focus on taking a little bit of a break as we head to the bottom of the third.
Leading off the bottom
All
of the
right,
third,
ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube as Joe Keel leads off for the Chinooks. We are still awaiting the arrival of Pate Fullerton, so hopefully he will get here quickly. I know that things can kind of fly by in the dugout, so we'll see if he ends up joining us. And the 0-0 is upstairs. So a good bounce-back inning last inning for Diego Barrera. As after a certainly tumultuous first inning, he was able to get a 1-2-3 inning last time, as that one is swung on and popped foul and out of play.
That foul ball brought to you by Bright Star Care.
So Joe Keel walked and scored a run in his last at-bat. And that one is in there for a called strike 2. So Barrera gets ahead here. And certainly, I don't know if you all can see on the live stream, but certainly a lot of movement from Barrera's pitches. I don't know why I said Patera, excuse me.
That foul ball brought to you by Chepo's Mexican Restaurant.
And if Barrera can continue to weaponize that movement and control that movement, he will certainly have a good game, as that one is chopped out to short, and Yake will fire across the diamond for the first out of the inning. So now Josh Scheck will step up to the plate here.
Number 35.
And he also was hit by a pitch in the last inning, or his last at-bat, not the last inning. He was stranded on third base. So we'll see what happens here, as that one's in there for a strike. So Barrera certainly has seemed to find his rhythm here. And the 0-1 outside for ball one. So the count moves to an even 1-1. Scheck from UC Berkeley. Or excuse me, not UC Berkeley. That didn't sound right when it came to UC Irvine. I apologize. So I do apologize for that, but obviously a California kid, so certainly must be nice to have this kind of cool weather in the summertime, as obviously California can get pretty hot in the summertime. So it must be nice to have a little bit cooler weather, as that one's in there for a called strike 3. So Barrera certainly bounced back, as he has retired now 7 in a row.
Now batting for the Chinooks,
going back to the first inning.
From Northwest Nazarene, number 12.
And now Hayden Keller, who had the big 2-out single in the first inning, will step up to the plate. Tough lefty-lefty matchup, but we'll see how it goes. Didn't affect them last time, as that one is outside. Not a bad pitch from Barrera, but just off the plate. And that pitch is in there for a called strikes. And it does appear that Pate has forgotten about our interview. But that's all right. It happens. And that pitch is also in there for a called strike. So Barrera pounding the zone here in this inning, and it has certainly worked out for him. And the 1-2. Swung on and tapped foul down the right field line. So Keller stays alive.
Recovery and Wellness Center.
And another 1-2. He swung on and missed. Good inning there from Barrera as the Chinooks go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the third, and we will head to the top of the fourth with the Bucs seizing some momentum here as they will look to build upon their good second inning as we head to the top of the fourth.
The Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks would like to extend a very special thanks to Scott Bleeker of Prime Lending for sponsoring today's evening at the ballpark. Leading off the top of the fourth for the Bucs, right fielder number 1, Carson Rockefeller.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network as Carson Rockefeller, who walked and scored a run in his last plate appearance, steps up to the plate against Nelson Schutte, who had a good bounce back inning last time. And it'll look to continue to build off that here as the count moves to 1-0 and now to 1-1. The 1-1 outside for ball 2. And look who has just arrived, even though you can't if you're watching on the live stream. But Pate Fullerton has joined us as that ball's popped high in the air and backing out of play. And Pate, I'd get mad at you for being a little late, but you know what? It is your birthday, so I think I'm going to give you a pass. So everybody in the chat, please wish Pate a happy birthday if you so choose. But how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, I'm doing great. I appreciate you having me.
Oh, not a problem. So I have so many things that I want to talk to you about.
All right,
first of all, how does it feel to get a little bit of a breather here? You've been grinding, 12 straight games, 12 straight starts for you. Whether at third base or somewhere else, as that one is driven out to right field. That's going to get off the wall. Colby Ferris will get that one in quickly, so a leadoff double for Carson Rockefeller here has the Bucs in business in the top of the fourth. So anyways.
Yeah, man, it feels good to take a day off. My legs were pretty beat up there, but ready to get back out there as soon as I can, for sure.
That makes sense.
Now batting for the Bucs, third baseman number 30, Diego Becerro.
We talked a little bit in here with Josh about the scoreless streak that has obviously now been broken. So I think it's okay to talk about it now a little bit. So what did you see as a fielder that really impressed you about the pitching staff during that scoreless streak? Did you see anything kind of different from them?
Yeah, man, they were just going out there with an edge, I don't want anybody to take this in the wrong way, but they were just going out there and being killers. They're just ready to get after it, and I could see their confidence, and everybody else was building on it. So it was good to be on a roll.
Awesome. So what is Pate Fullerton's day off mentality? Not necessarily a day like today, where obviously you're not starting. Although, if you want to talk about that, absolutely. But I just more mean like what will happen tomorrow when you're not at the field.
Okay.
It's kind of unstructured. Are you a hiking guy? Are you a fishing guy? Are you a kind of let's go to a restaurant, just hang out guy? Are you I got to go to the gym and get some cuts guy? Where do you sit on that?
I'm definitely a go out and hike and fish guy. I think that's what we're going to do, actually. We're going to go down to the Russian River and catch some sockeye salmon.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
So what is the difference between a sockeye salmon and maybe, I don't know what you would call a regular salmon?
Yeah. So a sockeye salmon, they also call them reds because the meat is super red. And I don't know where they get sockeye from, but that's the traditional name, sockeye salmon. And then there's king salmon, which is the bigger one. That's the one that everybody wants to catch, kind of. But, yeah.
That makes sense.
You betcha.
So Gerardo Strander showing bunt, and he did go, so the count moves to 1-2. So a few days ago, we had a couple of guys kind of go out sick, kind of didn't really feel good. So what is the vibe in the dugout when you got a couple of guys that are not necessarily there that normally would be there? Is it kind of strange? Is it worse? Is it better? Like, where does the vibe sit on that?
Yeah, I mean, those guys are definitely missed when they're not out here. We hate, obviously, guys going down sick and stuff, but we keep it up in there pretty good, even if guys are gone. We don't let our morale get too low.
That makes sense. So Nelson Schutte trying to work himself out of a jam here, but it's going to have to certainly work as 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out, and the 2-2's outside. So now with a 3-2 count, we will see what they do to attack the 9-hole guy with a base open. So what has been the key for you personally over the first 2 weeks when it comes to your hitting? As you started out the year kind of batting in the 6 or 7 hole, and since you've climbed all the way up to the 3 hole, which means your coaches and your teammates clearly trust you to be an RBI guy and a guy that's going to drive in runs and a guy that's going to get on base a lot. So what has kind of been that key difference for you?
Man, the difference for me was not worrying about getting my hits, but worrying about getting hits for the team. Sure, that sounds cliche, but it's cliche because it's true. You just got to put your team before yourself and put the team in the best possible situation in your at bats. I mean, if there's a guy in scoring position, you got 2 strikes, you can't be worried about striking out. You got to be worried about getting that guy over, getting that guy in first and foremost. So that's been the difference maker for me for sure.
Yeah, and I normally do this at the beginning of the interview, but it slipped my mind.
Oh, that's good.
You were talking about your birthday.
Yeah.
So why don't you really quickly, it might be a little bit awkward now, but just tell the folks at home just a little bit about yourself, for those of you who might not know who you are.
Gotcha. Well, my name is Pate Fullerton. I am currently in the transfer portal. I'm not sure where I'm going to go yet next year. But I'm from Searcy, Arkansas. I've got a brother. His name is J. Paul. He was up here 2 years ago with me. And then I've got a little sister. Her name is Chloe. She's without a doubt the best athlete in the family. And then I got a little brother named Brock. And we actually got to adopt him 3 years ago in December.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so there's my family.
So what got the baseball journey started for you?
Definitely my pops. He made sure I was swinging ever since I could hold a bat. He was a 10-year head coach at the Division II college in my hometown, Harding University. And then he moved on to be the women's assistant basketball coach at the same college. And then he moved to my high school to be the head coach, so he got to coach me at my high school. But for the baseball journey, man, definitely my dad and my brother just being out there together, having a blast, getting closer on the baseball field.
So did you? You said your dad was a basketball coach also. So did you grow up playing basketball as well?
Yeah, you bet. I love basketball. It's a different kind of different way to compete. You know, it's a lot more fast-paced, and you're all up close together and getting after it. And I love basketball, man. My mom was also a college athlete. She played basketball.
Okay, so very athletic family, it sounds like.
A little bit, yeah.
Some good genes. There you go. So, does your family plan on coming up here?
They're going to try
J. Paul
to.
or your parents or anybody?
I don't know if J. Paul's going to get to. He's actually playing in that new PBR league.
Okay.
Powered by the MLB, I think. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but my parents are going to try to come if they get a chance. My dad's got to run a baseball camp back home. He's not sure when that's going to be able to happen yet, so we'll see.
Awesome. So, is this the ideal way to spend your birthday? I mean, you're on a baseball field and you're locked in a booth talking to me, so I'm sure that's probably not where you foresaw spending your birthday, but
this is awesome. I don't think I'd rather be anywhere else.
So that one ticked off the glove of Sheck, and a hard hit ball there. So that means that another run will score for the Bucs here. I believe, yes. So another run will score. So the score now moves to 4-2, and at this point you have to wonder if Nelson Schuete's clock is beginning to run out here, as it has just been a tough go for him so far in this one. But moving on to another pitcher that, and I've asked this a few times now.
Joe.
And a great double play, and so I'm going to actually hold off on that question. Pate, I don't know what your time frame is, but do you have enough time to stick around for another half inning?
Yeah, you bet.
Awesome. So we will be right back as the Bucs take a 4-2 lead as we head to the bottom of the fourth. And we'll be right back with more from Pate Fullerton.
We move to the bottom of the fourth. Our score, the Bucs 4, the Chinooks 2. The Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks, thank you for your attendance at this evening's game, brought to you by Scott Bleeker of Prime Lending. Friendly reminder that there is no climbing of the fences of any sort at Lee Jordan Field at the Loretta Sports Complex. Again, there is no climbing of any sort here at Lee Jordan Field on the fences or at the Loretta French Sports Complex. Thank you. Leading off the bottom of the fourth for the Chinooks, a redshirt freshman right fielder from Tarleton State, number 25, Colby Ferris.
All right, and we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network as Colby Ferris will lead off here against Diego Barrera, who has had two pretty sharp innings in a row here, and he'll look to build off of that. But the Chinooks will look to get some of the runs back, as that one is chopped to third, and Baquero will fire on to first for the first out of the inning. So quickly one down here, so I guess that means I got to hurry up as I'm still joined here by Pate Fullerton. And once again, Pate, thank you so much for coming out here and taking some time out of your day and joining us here in the booth.
Of course. Happy to be here.
You talked a little bit about your brother coming up here.
Yeah.
I obviously that means your family has some experience here, but is this your first year actually playing for the Chinooks, or did you play with your brother as well?
I played with him last
played
time.
with your
This
brother.
is my second year playing. Yeah.
Awesome. So what has been the difference? I was really hoping you'd say that because I haven't had a lot of returners
Yeah,
come up here.
I hear
So what
you.
do you think has been the difference in this team this year and what necessarily you played for in the last 2 years?
Difference, you mean like in the guys or how we're playing?
Anything. I mean, obviously,
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's a secret that the Chinooks have not been the most successful in terms of winning percentage. But
Yeah.
this year, obviously, you guys are out to a torrid start. So what do you think has been the difference?
I think, man, everybody just came in here and nobody seemed nervous. You know, we all just kind of wanted to have a fun summer together and leave all the negative stuff that happens so often in baseball out of it. You know, and we're a band of brothers now. I feel like we've all got so close, and that wasn't really there as soon as it is now last time, if that makes sense. It
Yeah,
didn't
that's
happen as
actually
quick.
very similar to what Ty talked about when I
Okay.
interviewed him. He said that this is probably the closest team in terms of just a brotherhood.
Maybe.
That one is ripped into left field for a base hit. So in a
for
game
two,
that has
Big
been
Joe.
tough going offensively, Joe Brazil is now 2 for 2. So a good start for him. But anyway, so that's kind of what Ty was talking about. He said that he's been coming up here a little longer than any of us have, 16 years.
for sure.
And he said that this is definitely the quickest, by far, that any team has really come together.
Oh,
So
yeah,
definitely,
man.
I think he seconds that
Absolutely.
sentiment.
Absolutely.
So now Cal Campbell will step up to the plate, and that pitch is in there for a called strike. So I'm not sure necessarily how many people in this category are listening right now, but I do think it is a fair question to ask. So for those people who are kind of on the fence as to whether they should come here and join this team, what would you say to those people? Maybe even for both sides. Maybe say one thing that you don't like or one thing that you like, or maybe if you just want to be all positive, just say everything that you like and just kind of convince somebody to want to come up here.
Well, if you're on the fence, I'll tell you first off, it's a grind. There's no getting around that. It's playing every single day, and you can't really just come here and not do your best. Is what I'm trying to say. You gotta get after it every day if you're gonna be good. If your team's gonna be good, but that's really the only negative thing that I would say about coming up here. It's just that it's a grind and you got to get used to it. But once you get used to it, you're rolling. Everything else is awesome. I mean, everywhere you drive, you're seeing mountains. It's so scenic everywhere. And by far, the best part about being here with the Chinooks is how they are pounding the Lord into our hearts every single day. And it's just amazing. I feel myself growing in my relationship with the Lord, and I feel everybody else around me growing in their relationships with the Lord too. And that's something that you cannot beat anywhere, anyhow. And so if you're on the fence, man, it's a grind, but you will not regret it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being honest with
You
us.
betcha.
I got to get out of here quickly, but is there anything you'd like to say to the stream before you head out?
Thank you all so much for having me. Have a blessed day. That's
Awesome.
all I
Thank you
got.
so much, and we really, really hope we have you up here soon, man.
Yes, sir.
Fans, this Chinooks call to the bullpen is sponsored by Shop 180. Now pitching for your Chinooks, out of the University of Richmond, a right-hander, number 44, Brendan Argamanis. Leading off the top of the fifth for the Bucs, left fielder number 24, Jack McTough.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube as Jack Mactoff will lead things off against Brendan Argamanis, who has come in relief for Nelson Schutte. But possibly more important news, as I am joined here by Nate Hemmerich. So, Nate, it's really, really good to have you up here. First of all, how are you?
I'm good. I wish the score was a little bit different, but I think we're going to change it. But, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
I like that attitude, man. It's really good to have you up here. I appreciate you coming up here. I know that obviously you started this one. A bit of a shorter outing, obviously, for a general starter. So why don't you take me through the mental process? Obviously, I think you probably knew that you were going to have a shorter outing today. So take me through the mental process that has to take, because I've never had to be an opener before. So is it kind of like the same thing as a relief appearance? Is it different in any way?
Yeah, I kind of treated it like a relief appearance. Coach told me I was going to be the opener today, so I didn't know what exactly that would entail. So I was figuring probably 1-2 innings. But yeah, so it takes me a little bit while to go, so it was good to get a start. I got to stretch out a little bit more. But yeah, overall it was good. Good.
Well, obviously, you did very, very well.
Thank you.
So congratulations on that. And I've mentioned a little bit about your story, and now you haven't had a lot of long innings, which is a credit to you this year. So I haven't had a lot of chance to expand on that. But since I have you in the studio, why don't you tell the fans a little bit about yourself, first of all, and then also a little bit about your story with your shoulder and everything like that, what you've had to go through to get here.
Yeah, so I'm from Kokomo, Indiana, the pride of Indiana. So yeah, and then June last year, I had labrum surgery, so I have 5 scars on my right shoulder. So coming back from that, it's been a little bit tough on the mental side more than the physical side. But yeah, I think I'm finally starting, to mentally get back to where I was, and I'm feeling pretty good.
That's awesome, man. And as somebody who also has 4 scars on his shoulder from labrum surgery, I know firsthand how difficult that is. And I had a lot of shoulder problems stemming off of that. And so the fact that you've been able to come back seemingly at 100% with no issues and come out here and a lot of very tough competition and pitch the way you have, it's absolutely incredible. And if nobody else says that to you this year, I'll say it to you right here.
Thank you.
On air, so that it is out there for everyone. So obviously you have been able to witness firsthand the unbelievable torrid pitching that you guys have had this year so far. So what have you seen from the rest of your guys that has really impressed you so far this year?
Just their approach. They all do what they need to do to be ready. We have some guys who take this very serious, which is a good thing. And there's a double play turned beautifully up the middle. But yeah, so pitching-wise, Sonny, he's been really good. I didn't know what to expect, but yeah, he's been really good. Argo has done really well. Everybody's done really well. So, yeah.
Awesome. So, coming from Indiana, obviously there's not, I think let's be honest with ourselves, there's not a ton of stuff to do in Indiana. There's not a ton of things that you can go out and really just kind of spend so much time with. So what was it like growing up in that environment as a baseball player? Obviously, Indiana is more of a basketball state. So what was it like kind of growing up wanting to have baseball or wanting to basically just play baseball in a place where that's not exactly in the limelight all the time?
So lucky for me and my generation, when I was 13 years old, Indianapolis built this $1 million complex called Grand Park, which has, I want to say, 8 full-size fields. So travel ball, that was huge for travel ball. And then they gave us a place to develop. And then, we were traveling every weekend. Right. But having a place local to play on the weekends as well was really nice. Yeah, other than that, it's all basketball, the Hoosier State.
Right. So. Absolutely. So, obviously, I grew up in Florida, so baseball was absolutely everywhere. Literally, there were hundreds, if not thousands, of travel ball teams, perfect game tournaments, different showcases, pretty much every weekend. So, what was it like trying to get noticed in the college rankings, as well as, even a pro league like this one, when you're in a state where it's like not necessarily like, there's not going to be showcases, I assume, in Indianapolis for perfect game every single weekend, things like that.
Yeah, so Grant Park has really turned into a place where a lot of scouts go. I know they do have perfect game tournaments. Like I think the PG Super 25 has been their like qualifier. So other than that, I mean, I remember going to Fort Myers and playing in perfect game BCS. So just having Grant Park has been great. And there we go. We play by JM up the middle.
Absolutely. So I'm not sure what kind of schedule you're on right now. Obviously, you're probably not going in again.
No.
So can you stick around for another half inning?
Of course.
Awesome. So in that case, then we will head to the bottom of the fifth inning with the Chinooks trailing 4-2. And we will have some more from Nate Hemmerich when we come back.
Every time I think of you, I catch myself smiling, remembering the times that we've had. I might leave, chase my dreams down that highway for a while. But then again, I always come back. Carolina, you know I could never leave you. Carolina, 'cause you're right here in my dreams. You're always there, no matter where my feet can take me.
Leading off the bottom of the fifth for the Chinooks, second baseman Cal Campbell.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live on the
Get outta
Chinooks
here.
Radio Network here on YouTube as Cal Campbell leads things off against Diego Barrera, who after a tumultuous first inning has pitched very, very well here going into the bottom of the fifth. But more importantly, we are joined here by Nate Hemmerich, or I should say continue to be joined here by Nate Hemmerich, as obviously he talked a little bit to you guys in the last half inning. Again, Nate, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and coming up here and joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Pleasure to be on.
So why don't we talk a little bit about something I haven't really had the chance to talk about since I've been here, which is the fact that I'm driving you around places here in Alaska. So why don't you be honest? You can be honest with me, be honest with the stream here. How have I been doing driving around?
So at first it was a little sketchy,
Agreed.
Tyler really doesn't have much experience in the van, so turning around was kind of tough. But he's really improved, I will say. He's very. There we go. Good job, Will. Way to put it in play. Attaboy. But yeah, Tyler has definitely improved his van driving skills and is willing to take us anywhere, really, in his off time, and we're grateful for that because that's really the only way we can get around unless our host families have cars for us. So yeah, it's been good.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, and I am in agreement. Certainly, there was a lot of anxiety the first day driving that thing. I've never driven anything like that before, but I've tried my best to keep my composure and to improve as the days have gone along. So I appreciate the kind words there. But I definitely wanted to talk about that a little bit. So what exactly is your mentality on an off day? So not necessarily like a day that you come to the field and you're not pitching, because you're doing virtually the same thing that you'd be doing when you're pitching anyway. So I mean, like, what it would be tomorrow? So are you kind of like I want to go hiking guy? I want to go chill and relax guy? I want to go maybe to like sightseeing stuff that's not necessarily like super physical kind of guy? Like where is your mind with that?
So yeah, after my 14-mile hike last off day, yeah, I will not be going hiking the rest of June. So yeah, that is out of the picture. But I do like going and sightseeing. If it's like a mile hike, maybe. We've been to the Alaska Zoo already, which was great. We got to see the wonderful polar bear.
Singular, one polar bear?
Yeah, there was one
polar bear. Nice. All right.
Saw a lot of cool, interesting things there. But yeah, so since I threw today, I'll probably do some recovery stuff tomorrow just to make sure my arm's feeling good. But other than that, I'll probably just chill around the house. Host family's not home, so
there you
just
go.
get to lay around all day.
There you go. So a little while ago, the offense kind of had a really, really rough go. I mean, they had scored, I think, 3 runs in 5 games. It was really rough. Excuse me. So as a pitcher, does that change your mentality going out there at all when you know the offense is struggling, or does it kind of stay the same?
I mean, our guys have been pretty consistent for the most part, and then I know on defense they've been just great. So I mean, it doesn't affect my mindset in any way. I know it can be tough when you're losing games, say 2-0, 1-0, but I know in the long run they'll get it going. All right. But yeah, so it can be tough, but I have faith in our guys. We got some really good hitters on our team, just really consistent, just for the most part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not to say that that 5-game stretch tells the whole story. Obviously, the last few games they've been hitting very, very well.
Oh, yeah.
But just kind of to throw that out there. I haven't asked that question a lot, so I kind of wanted to pick your brain on that. So, one question that I have asked a lot of pitchers, and I want to continue to ask every pitcher that comes in here, is what has it been like for you having to come here and develop an entirely new relationship with two completely new catchers, 3 if you count Ty, obviously. It generally does a lot of the bullpen stuff.
Yes.
So what has that been like for you? Has that been a hard process? Has it been pretty easy?
I'm not real particular with catching per se, but one of the good things about travel ball is going out and meeting new people, just getting to experience, like learn different little tricks of the trade, so that's really what I enjoy. Our catchers are really good. Ty does a great job down in the bullpen. I know both Joe and Matt, they really give it their all back there. They do a great job blocking, throwing, you name it. So that's really, if they're giving it their all, that's all I can ask for.
Absolutely. So what has it been like for you being able to kind of ride with the same crew basically for the last 2 weeks? Is it kind of like stressful? Do you get used to it? Is it actually like awesome that you get to kind of ride with the same guys? Do you sometimes want to just kick them all out of the van and replace them with all new guys? Where does your mind sit on that?
I think it's great. There are times where Colby Ferris, he might get on my nerves a little bit by procrastinating the van length to get to places. But that's another story. But overall, they're great guys. You get a little bit more personal with them because you see them every day and you get to ride with them. But it's been great. I think I'm closer to those guys than I am anybody else on the team just for that reason.
Certainly. Well, unfortunately, this does mean. And actually, do you have another half inning that you can stick around, or do you think that that's probably it for you?
You can stay another half inning.
You can stay another half inning? Sweet, because I have a couple more questions I'd love to ask you. All right. So we'll be right back with this quick short break, and we will have a little bit more from Nate Hemmerich when we come back.
Leading off the top of the sixth for the Bucs, third baseman number 30, Diego Vaquero.
All right, we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube as Diego Vaquero will lead off for the Bucs against Brendan Argamanis, who was able to work around a leadoff hit by pitch and walk to throw a scoreless top of the fifth. So now here in the top of the sixth, he'll hopefully look to repeat that effort. And I am continued to be joined by Nate Hemmerich here. Again, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and sticking with us. So a question that I wanted to ask you specifically, obviously we touched a little bit on, your injury coming here. So for
there's a
the bat
broken
gets
bat.
shattered.
Come get it, Hayden.
And that's going to drop for a base hit. So for Brendan Argamanis, you did about all you could do there with a shattered bat, but just unlucky as Diego Vaquero gets on with his second hit of the ballgame. So anyways, so obviously a lot of these guys want to come out, maybe get stronger, maybe just kind of get their swing down, get, whatever, what have you, maybe throw a little bit harder, whatever the goals they have. So for you coming off of an injury, maybe not necessarily pitching this year as much as you would have hoped, what is your goal for being here?
So obviously velo would be great, but mainly it was find the command again. I really struggled at school with command this year, just coming back. And then one of my other main goals was mentally getting back over the injury. Because once I get back mentally, I feel like I can get the velo back. But yeah, mentally, the mental side has definitely been the hardest part. So that was really what I wanted to focus on.
Certainly. So what is the motivation? What was the motivation for you as that throw gets away? So Diego Vaquero will get into second base on throwing error. So anyways, what was the motivation for you? Because obviously, I went through the same injury, and it kind of certain times, you have to do PT every day.
Yes.
And so what kept that motivation going for you on those days where it got really, really tough?
So when COVID hit, they gave us an extra year, which was really nice. So just being able to play baseball again was ultimately my motivation. I wanted to be able to throw a ball and all that stuff again, and then ultimately help my team at school win a championship. We got runner-up this year in the conference tournament, which was kind of a bummer, but I think that we'll be back, and that's ultimately my goal, to help them.
Well, it's definitely a great purpose to have. So Brandon Argamanis is up 0-2 here as he looks to bounce back from the leadoff single and then the throwing error here. So I'm not sure exactly where your journey for baseball started.
Atta boy.
And that is a great pitch from Brandon Argamanis.
Absolutely disgusting.
So what started this whole baseball journey for you?
So my dad was actually drafted in the 39th round by the New York Mets.
39th round, wow.
Yeah, in the 1989. So it's always been there. He actually, when I was younger, he purposely had me hold a plunger to hit Beanie Babies left-handed so that I would swing left-handed. So he tried to get me to throw left-handed, but he couldn't. He couldn't get me to do it. So that motivates me a lot. It's just always there. It's something we have in common and can talk about. And then also, I've had just the people I've met playing baseball. I grew up with people who play high D1, and just being around them, and they're great people to be around just my whole life. So yeah, they motivate me. I know I motivate them. So yeah, that's what keeps me going.
Awesome. That's awesome. So Brandon Argamanis has definitely had a great start to the year.
Yes.
So what have you seen from him specifically that has stuck out to you so far?
His approach is really good. I know every day at the gym he's either lifting, doing mobility, something like that. He's a real quiet guy. He doesn't say much, but he just the way he approaches things. He has a professional-like approach.
Absolutely. Yeah, we interviewed him up here about a week ago, and it was a great interview. But certainly you could see that he was one of those guys that was not the most comfortable with the microphone. He kind of was leaned back the whole time, and when he would look over to me to talk to me, he kind of just look over with his eyes. He wouldn't like turn and everything. He was kind of a little so. And again, there's nothing wrong with any of that. Absolutely, everybody's different, but definitely you could tell he's one of the more reserved guys. So certainly I agree with you there. As Argo looks to get a punch out, and he does. Wow, what a pitch from Brandon Argomanis, and he has looked nasty in this inning after that leadoff single. My goodness. So what is your mentality in the weight room on days off? Because as a relief pitcher, it can get kind of tough because you don't necessarily know when or at what point you're going to throw. Unless you have a very specifically designed role, like you are a long reliever, or you're a closer, you're a setup guy. So if you're kind of just like just a generic reliever, you never really know. So what's that mentality for you?
So the day after I throw, I usually like to lift pretty heavy. I think that helps flush the arm a little bit in my body. But other than that, I go pretty light, just in case. I would like to tell the YouTube viewers that Tyler and I did play horse the other day, and I went 3-1 against him.
He did. I'm not very good.
So, you know.
But he is from Indiana, so he might have cheated a little bit just because he's good. I don't know.
No. Definitely not.
Well, on that note, Nate, unfortunately, we are going to have to let you go.
Okay.
But is there anything else that you would like to say to the awesome viewers at home before you head out?
Oh, yeah, I'd like to give a huge shout-out to my guy, Grant Mayfield, if he's still watching. I know that they were viewing at the beginning, so if you're still on here, just know I'm thinking of you guys back in Indiana.
Oh, that's awesome, man. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, Nate, and I really hope to get you back up here soon.
Yep. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Leading off the bottom of the sixth for the Chinooks, a redshirt freshman first baseman from UC Irvine, number 35, Josh Scheck.
All right, and we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube as we enter the bottom of the sixth inning as Josh Scheck will step up to the plate here for the Chinooks, As that one is popped high in the air on the right side of the infield, and it is taken in by Woody Haydeen. So
Now batting for the Chinooks.
I'll tell you what, guys, after the rough first inning for Diego Barrera, not only has he looked good, he has looked absolutely dominant throughout the rest of this ball game, and certainly he has given the Bucs everything that they could ask for so far.
That foul ball brought to you by
So 3 fantastic interviews today. I've certainly had a lot of fun. Thank you so much to those guys. And a good stop there by Matt Erickson. So definitely thank you so much to those guys. So happy to have them in here. Obviously, once again, happy birthday to Pate Fullerton. And we do appreciate, obviously he had to be at the ballpark anyway for his birthday no matter what, but definitely super thankful that he decided to even spend a little bit of time on his birthday with us and with you guys at home. So definitely grateful for him. Thank you so much to Josh Harrel coming in here and doing an interview. We've been talking about doing an interview for for pretty much since the beginning of the season. He definitely wanted to come in here and talk to you guys and talk to me. So definitely a great interview from him, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And then obviously thank you so much to the big unit, Nate Hemmerich. Obviously, as you guys heard in the interview, he's one of the guys that I drive around in my van, so I've gotten to know him very, very personally over the last couple of weeks, and he is one of the best guys that I've been around. He's such a great guy, has a big heart, has a great sense of humor, and he's also very good at horse. So I found that out the other day. He beat me pretty good. I was able to sneak out one win against him, but I certainly had to work for it. So a great guy, great interview, very, very comfortable with the microphone. So obviously love to have all three of those guys back in here soon. And I hope that you guys continue to enjoy the interviews. And I would love to get some longer interviews as time goes on. And a great diving catch there from Garrett Ostrander, who robs Colby Ferris of a hit. So the Chinooks have just got nothing going on offense over the last few innings, and even when they hitting the ball good, it's just not falling for them right now, and that's going to happen every once in a while, but it is probably a little frustrating as the Chinooks now head to the top of the 7th, down 4-2.
Fans, at this time, the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks are offering 2 white ticket gift giveaways for the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks Booster Club members. So at this time, will our Booster Club members take out their white tickets now? Our first winning white ticket number is ticket 5459418. Our first winning white ticket number is ticket 5459418. Take your ticket to the Chinook Shack to claim your prize from Central Perth. Our second winning white ticket number is ticket 5459411. Second winning white ticket number 5459411. Take your tickets to the Chinook Shack to claim your prize from Coldstone. Leading off the top of the 7th for the Bucs, first baseman number 26, Jake Skipworth.
All right, and we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube as Brendan Argamanis has looked fantastic up to this point, and he continues to try and go to work here in the top of the 7th inning as he looks to keep the lead right where it is for the Bucs as that 0-2 pitch is outside. So Jake Skipworth steps up to the plate, and the Bucs have had a pretty decent game on offense, but Skipworth, up to this point, has not really been a part of it. He's 0 for 3 so far, and he grounded into a double play. So I'm sure Skipworth will look to get off the schneid here. And the 1-2. And that one's upstairs. So the count moves to 2-2. And ladies and gentlemen, I asked a trivia question earlier tonight and last game, and I still haven't gotten any responses, which is very unusual, as that one swung on and missed for strike 3. So Skipworth continues to struggle here as Brendan Argamanis with another strikeout. And now Jack Mactoff will step up to the plate. And the question is, who has the lowest whip of any pitcher on the Chinooks roster, at least before the start of this ball game? And that pitch is driven, and a leap from Mullins, but he cannot get it, so that'll be a base hit into center field. So Jack Machtoff with his second hit of the ball game. And I tell you what, the Bucs have certainly swung the bats well in this one. And considering the torrid pitching that the Chinooks have had over the last few games, it's actually very surprising to see, as the Chinooks have really done a great job on the mound of keeping guys from getting hard contact. But there has been some pretty decent hard contact all night tonight. That's going to happen sometimes. You know, that's baseball, as they say. And that pitch is outside. So once again, the trivia question of the night is, who has the lowest whip of any pitcher in the Chinooks pitching staff? So put your answers in the comment section below, and we'll see if somebody can get the answer. So the 1-0 is downstairs to Cole Carrig, who is 1 for 2 with a hit by pitch. So after two pretty long innings to open up the ball game here, these last few innings have been very short, but that one's driven out to the left center gap, and that's going to get all the way to the wall. And they're going to wave around Machtoff, and he is going to score. Quickly got in by the Chinooks, and a decent play, but unfortunately a little too late, as an RBI double for Cole Carrig means that the Bucs lead has now expanded to 5-2.
Number 36, Matt Erickson.
So now Matt Erickson will step up to the plate as he looks to continue the momentum for the Bucs. And as I said, the Bucs have come into this game absolutely hot, and you knew that they were a little bit too talented to stay where they were at the basement of the league, and they certainly have shown why in the last few ball games, as they have certainly hit the ball well in this one, have been hitting the ball well for several games now. And backed by a pretty good start from Diego Pereira. So he has definitely given them all they could want up to this point. And the 0-0 is outside. So a 1-0 count to Matt Erickson, who is 0 for 3. And the 1-0 downstairs. So the count moves to 2-0, and that'll prompt Matt Magno to have a conversation with his pitcher here. So it winds up as a quick meeting. And we will see what the results of the meeting will be here, as Argamanis sets, takes a peek at second, and fires the 2-0 pitch, and that ball is just outside. So the count moves to 3-0. And a walk would not be the worst thing in the world here, as it would put the Chinooks in position for a double play. So we'll see what Argamanis does here. Does he try and throw a pitcher's pitch, or does he just go right after Erickson? And that ball's outside. So Erickson walks with one out here, and so that'll be a runner on second and first, one out. And that will bring up Carson Roccaforte, who had a double in the fourth inning and also scored, and walked in the first inning and scored again. So he has 2 runs here. So he's had a pretty big day so far at the plate already, and he'd love to build off of that here in a big RBI spot. And that pitch is swung on and hit down the left field line and out of play.
Brought to you by Edward Jones financial advisor Gavin Reeve.
So once again, I'd like to thank all of you on the stream for joining us tonight. We know that you have a lot of choices of things you could be doing at this hour, whether you're on the West Coast, the East Coast, or anywhere. And we do appreciate you choosing to join us. As that one is tapped to second. Let's see if the Chinooks can turn two. It'll be tough. And they cannot turn the double play as Carson Rockefort was moving it down the line, but they do get one out as Cole Carey will move over to third. So that'll be the second out of the inning. So runners on the corners here with two gone as Diego Baquero will step up to the plate. And he has played well at the dish so far. He is 2 for 2 with a hit by pitch. And he also has a run scored. So certainly has done a good job at the plate so far as the runner takes off for second and the throw down is in time. And a great throw by Matt Magno and a good tag from John Mark Mullins means that Diego Baquero will not have an RBI chance as that will be the third out of the inning. So Diego Baquero will lead off in the next inning, but before we can get there, the Chinooks will look to get that run back and possibly more as we head to the bottom of the seventh.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it is time for our seventh inning stretch. And with a special rendition of this evening's seventh inning stretch is tonight's ball game sponsor, Scott Bleeker of Prime Lending. Scott, take it away.
And if you sing loud enough tonight, maybe we'll pull out a, am I missing this already? To the crowd, buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I ever get back, let me root for the whole team. If they don't win, it's a shame. It's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. What I was about to say, if you sang loud enough, and I think you did, that we're going to go ahead and do a drawing for that free TV. If you are here, you have a chance to win if you put your name in. We're going to have someone pull the name right now. Must be. Must be present to win. Marcus King, please meet us at the back of the press booth. Marcus King.
He went home. Draw another one.
Draw another one.
He left.
About an hour ago. He left. You only stayed till the third inning. Second. Yes.
How'd we do on that one?
That's my 50.
In the event that Marcus King does not show up before the end of the bottom of the seventh inning, our runner-up is Mary Lou Dufett. So in the event that there is no claim in the bottom of the seventh once this inning comes to an end, Mary Lou Dufett is our winner of the Scott Bleeker of Prime Lending giveaway TV prize.
She's not here.
Leading off the bottom of the seventh for the Chinooks, a redshirt freshman catcher from Northwood University, number 17, Matt Magno. And your attention, please, now pitching at the San Diego State, number 28, Kalina Sauer.
All right, and we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube, excuse me, as Kalina Sauer has taken over for Diego Barrera here in the seventh, and Barrera pitched very well tonight, allowing only 2 runs on just 3 hits. And all of that pretty much coming in the first inning. So he certainly settled in well, as he has given his team a great chance to win this one. So Matt Magno stepping up to the plate here. He is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts so far, so certainly looking to bounce back here. And he's gotten himself into a good hitter's count. And I'm still awaiting any answer for the trivia question of the game. the 3-1 is ripped deep to right field, but Rockefort will go back towards the foul pole to make the catch. So a good swing there from Magno, but unfortunately, as a lot of the Chinook swings have done tonight, it results in nothing. So Joe Brazil will step up, and he is pretty much the only Chinook to have any kind of consistent success tonight. He's 2 for 2 with 2 base hits. So in his first start of the day, he has certainly looked good at the plate. And the 0-0 to him is in there for a called strike. Good pitch there from Sauer on the outside corner. And the 0-1 from Sauer. It was swung on and foul tipped into the catcher's mitt for strike 2. And so the Chinooks are running out of chances here. You know they'd love to get something going here and at least chip away into that 3-run lead as that one's downstairs. The 1-2 is swung on and ripped, but right to Ernie Yake at shortstop. So another good swing from Brazil, but this time he's not so lucky to get on base. As 2 good swings in this inning for the Chinooks have resulted in nothing. And so now,
right before a pinch hitter change. Sophomore from the University of Alabama, Birmingham.
So now stepping up to the plate, replacing Cal Campbell, or at least pinch hitting for Cal Campbell, will be Pate Fullerton, who we interviewed earlier tonight and had a wonderful time doing so. And obviously it is his birthday today, so let's see if he has any birthday luck here in his at-bat. And the 0-0 is swung on and fouled, tipped straight back.
That foul ball brought to you by JR Septic Plumbing and Excavation.
So with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th, Pate Fullerton will look to get something going with 2 outs. And the 0-1 is in there for a called strike. So Kalena Sauer looking pretty good here as he looks to put Pate Fullerton away rather quickly here. As the count moves to 0-2. And the 0-2. Swung on and missed. So a good inning there from Kalena Sauer as Pate Fullerton goes down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning. So we head to the top of the 8th with the Chinooks trailing 5-2.
7 complete. Our score, the Bucs 5, the Chinooks 2.
No, you reversed it.
Fans, this Chinooks call to the bullpen is sponsored by Shop 180. Now pitching for the Chinooks, a redshirt junior right-hander out of Biola University, number 34, Hannes Kendry. Fans, at this time, the Shukiak Eagle River Chinooks would also like to inform you that we are now selling half-off burgers and hot dogs. So from now until the end of the game, half-off burgers and hot dogs.
legit die.
Leading off the top of the 8th for the Bucs, third baseman number 30, Diego Vaquero.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube as Diego Vaquero will lead things off. He started hitting in the last inning, but obviously Carson Rockefort was thrown out stealing, so did not get a chance to drive in any runs. So he will look to get something going here for the Bucs. As now Hannes Kindreich will take over here. So that one's popped high in the air, and that will end up out of play as Magno stares that one down and waits for it to come down. And so now both the guys that were out a couple of days ago via sickness have been able to get some work here in this game. So definitely good for those guys. Get back in the swing of things, keep things rolling. So the count moves to 1-2. And that one is outside. So now the count moves to an even 2-2. So Diego Vaquero is 2 for 2 with a hit by pitch in this one. So certainly been swinging the bat well as that one's popped high in the air. And it will remain playable for Sheck over at first as he makes the catch in foul territory for the first out of the inning. So with one down here, Garrett Ostrander, who's 1 for 2 with a walk tonight, will step up to the plate.
Center fielder number 5, Garrett Ostrander.
And Hannes Kindreich simply looking to keep the lead exactly where it is for the Bucs and give the Chinooks at least a chance in the bottom of the 8th inning to chip away and get back in this ball game. And that one's upstairs. So Kindreich, one of the few pitchers I have not had the privilege of interviewing yet, so hopefully we'll be able to get him in here soon. We talked about it a couple times, and then suddenly he got pretty sick. So ever since then, I've tried to give him his distance, kind of keep things, let him kind of do what he needs to do to get himself ready for the games. But I see no reason why over the next few days, as he continues to feel better and continues to get back to his physical normal, that he'll get back into a regular schedule for himself and for the Chinooks, and we can get him in here. So certainly we'll try to do that, as we will try to get everybody on the team in here. Obviously, there's plenty of position players that I haven't been able to talk to yet, and so we'll hope to get all those guys in here as well. So the count now moves to 3-1. And for those of you who are fans of other sports, the Los Angeles Clippers have eliminated the Utah Jazz. And an unlikely hero, Terrence Mann, for the Clippers dropped 39 points tonight. So absolutely incredible. At one point, the Clippers, I don't know the exact amount of points, but they were down significantly. I think it was over 20. So certainly they must have felt great about that. And so the situation with Kawhi Leonard, as that pitch is swung on and missed. So a good bounce back there for Kindreich. As after working the count full, he's able to get Ostrander to strike out for the second time tonight. So now there are 2 outs here. And anyways, I was saying the situation with Kawhi Leonard and his injury will certainly now be at the forefront, as we continue to move and progress towards the NBA Finals. So now the Clippers will go to the Western Conference Finals. And that pitch is driven out to right field, and that's going to get down and a fair ball. So Colby Ferris gathers and fires into second base, but too late as Woody Haydeen with a 2-out double here. And that's his first hit of the ball game. So now for Kindrike, he's got to figure out a way to keep that run from scoring and keep that lead where it is. And also earlier tonight, the Philadelphia 76ers stayed alive in Atlanta despite some pretty torrid performances for Trey Young and John Collins. But they were able to rally despite being down pretty early on. And they were able to stay alive and force a Game 7 that will be in Philadelphia. So a lot of good basketball still left to be played, as you still have the Eastern and Western Conference Finals and obviously the NBA Finals. So definitely will be looking forward to that. So the 1-0 from Kindrike is, oh, goodness, and it looked like that Magno just missed that one, and it hits the umpire flush. Not sure exactly where it hit. It might have been in the chest protector or in the face mask. Not exactly sure, but obviously he's a little shaken up, so we're going to hope that he's all right. And the umpire, they give him a hug, and he's ready to go. So obviously in good spirits as he gets back behind the plate and he's ready to roll. So certainly he seems all right, and obviously it looks like it hit him in the arm. So definitely never fun to be struck as an umpire. And hopefully he won't take that out on the rest of us. Maybe after the game wanting to fight people. We don't want that. So we'll hope that he's going to forgive everybody and we can keep going with this. So a 2-0 count here to Ernie Yake, as that pitch is in there for a called strike. So Kindrike looking to work around the 2-out double, and now Woody Haydeen is obviously on third after that wild pitch, and that pitch is just outside. So the count moves to 3-1, so a good hitter's count for Yake as he looks to get that runner home from third. But it will take a hit as there are 2 outs here, and the 3-1 outside. So after getting the first 2 guys, Kindrike has allowed a double and a walk here, so
now batting for the Bucs, first baseman number 26, Jake
we'll
Skipworth.
see how that progresses, as now Jake Skipworth will step up to the plate, as he's 0 for 4 so far tonight. So certainly, despite the offensive outbreak for the Bucs, he has not really been a part of it up to this point. So I'm sure he'd love to drive that run in, as at the very least he'll have something to take home with him. As that pitch is swung on and tapped back to the mound, and Kindrike snags it, flips on to first for the 3rd out of the inning. So an 0 for 5 performance for Skipworth so far. Definitely not the ball game he wishes he had up to this point, but nonetheless, we will head to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Chinooks trailing 5-2.
No errors, 1 man left. We move to the bottom of the 8th. Our score: the Bucs 5, the Chinooks 2. Fans, your attention, please. Now pitching for the Anchorage Bucs, a junior right-hander out of Santa Clara University, number 34, Alex Ralphs.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing, we will rock you. We will
off the bottom of the eighth for the Chinooks, a junior center fielder from the Masters University, number 10, Will Bats.
And we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube as Will Bats steps up to the plate for the Chinooks. And he is 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch in this inning as that pitch is in there for a called strike. And that pitch is ripped, but right to the second baseman. And he fires onto first base for the first out of the inning. So Chinooks have had some good at-bats here late, but unfortunately it's not really amounting to much as most of the hard hit balls have gone right at people. And it happens here once again, and now John Mark Mullins will step up to the plate.
John Mark Mullins.
As he'll look to get something, anything, going for the Chinooks, as that one is floated out to left center field, and that one's going to drop for a base hit. So all the hard hit balls that we've seen so far today have really not been hits, and then a little bloop single. And honestly, that's just baseball, folks. It can be frustrating at times, but that is just baseball.
Now batting for the Chinooks, a sophomore designated hitter from the University of Alabama, Birmingham.
So the new pitcher for the Bucs, Alex Rielfs, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm not 100% positive. So if I did pronounce that wrong, I do apologize, but I'm just kind of saying it how it's spelled. So now here steps up Joe Keel. Joe is 0 for 2 with a walk today. So I'm sure he'd love to get a hold of one here. Get some momentum for the Chinooks. And the 0-0 is downstairs. And the 1-0 is inside. Good take there from Keel, as it looked like he kind of wanted to take a hack at that. But it was inside, so the count moves to 2-0. Much better hitters count for Joe Keel here. As you know, if he gets one, he'll look to drive it. And here's the 2-0, and it is popped high in the air. Perhaps playable behind the plate, and instead it clanks off of the press box, as I'm sure all of you heard that, and as I felt that. So certainly out of play for sure. So Joe Keel now moves to a 2-1 count, as I know he'd love to drive one here and get some momentum for the Chinooks, so we'll see how this at-bat plays out. As the Chinooks running out of chances here to try and climb back in this game. And the 2-1 as Mullins takes off, and that one is flied out to center field, so Mullins having to backtrack as Ostrander moves over to make the catch for out number 2. So Chinooks down their last 4 outs here, as Josh Scheck will step up, as he is also 0 for 2 with a walk, or excuse me, rather a hit by pitch. So Alex Rielfs looking to get out of the inning here, as that one's downstairs. So Scheck will, at the very least, look to keep the line moving for the Chinooks and keep this inning alive, as that one is ripped to short and snagged on a short hop and thrown on to second. So another hard hit ball for the Chinooks, but unfortunately, quite frankly, it has just not mattered tonight, as the ball has just found gloves all night long. And again, it's frustrating, but it does happen, folks. So now the Chinooks will head to the top of the ninth, still down 5-2, and hoping to keep the lead right where it is as we head to the top of the ninth.
This Chinooks call to the bullpen is sponsored by Shop 180. Now pitching for your Chinooks, a sophomore right-hander out of the University of Arkansas Little Rock, number 16, Reese Lansville. Fans, at this time, if you'll take out your blue split the pot tickets, we have the winning ticket number. Ticket 239508. Once again, split the pot ticket number 239508. Take your ticket behind the press box and claim your prize. The pot tonight at $271.50. Leading off the top of the ninth for the Bucs, left fielder number 24, Jack McTough.
All right, we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube as the Chinooks trail 5-2 late in this one. And now Reese Lansville will take the mound for the Chinooks and look to keep the lead right where it is and avoid any more damage. As Jack McTough, the left fielder, will step up to the plate for the Bucs. And that pitch is downstairs for ball one. The 1-0. Inside. So a fairly uneventful game up to this point for the Chinooks. As not a lot has really gone on since the first, as that one is a nice play over there at second by Pate Fullerton. Or actually, that might be Patty McCormick over there. I can't exactly tell.
Now batting for the Bucs, designated hitter number 13, Cole Carrig.
And it does appear to be Patty McCormick over there at second base. I'm not exactly sure when he entered the game. Obviously as a defensive replacement. But he's over there, so that's news, I suppose. I apologize for not noticing that earlier, guys. But that pitch is downstairs for ball one. So now one out here in the top of the ninth as Cole Carrig steps up to the plate. Had an RBI double in his last at-bat as that one is ripped at and fouled out of play.
That foul ball brought to you by JR Septic Plumbing and Excavation.
Lansville's 1-1 is checked and no swing. So the count moves to 2-1. So 10 hits so far for the Bucs, as they certainly have done a good job of putting the ball in play all night long. As that one is also ripped into left field for a base hit. So a good swing there from Carrig as he hits that one hard and gets himself aboard for a base hit. As now the Bucs look to keep the momentum going and get some more runs in this inning, get some more cushion for the bottom of the ninth as Matt Erickson, the catcher, will step up and look to keep things rolling. And for Reese Lansville, you know you'd love a double play here. And the 0-0 is off speed, but it's upstairs for ball one. The 1-0 outside. So the Chinooks have been a bit unlucky tonight. They have had a lot of hard hit balls, but they've unfortunately kind of found fielders' gloves all night long. And again, those things do happen as that pitch is outside. So the count moves to 3-0. So those things do happen, but you always do hate it when it does happen, especially in a game where if some of those fell, it might be a little bit of a different feel here in the top of the ninth. Not necessarily a different outcome, as that pitch is outside for ball four. So a one-out walk here for Matt Erickson, as that's his second walk of the day. As Carson Rockefort has had a pretty good game up to this point, will step up. He's 1 for 3 with a walk and a 2-run scored. So has been involved in this one. So the 0-0 from Lansville's downstairs, as might benefit from a bit of a reset here, as he's had a hard time finding the strike zone here the last little bit here, as that's 5 balls in a row. And his 1-0 is inside. And Lansville takes a bit of a walk, tries to reset. The 2-0 is in there for a called strike, so finally gets one to go over. And we'll see if he can keep that consistency. And the 2-1 from Lansville is inside as the count moves to 3-1. So another good hitter's count for the Bucs. And a good one for Carson Rockefort as well. So Reese Lansville looking to bounce back here after a rough couple of batters. And the 3-1. Swung on and missed. Good pitch there from Lansville. As now the count moves full. So big time at bat for both Lansville and Rockefort, as certainly this pitch could be the big difference between giving up a run or not giving up a run. So we'll see how this ends up right here on this 3-2 pitch downstairs. So now the bases will be loaded here. So a hit and 2 walks all consecutively. So certainly been tough sledding for Lansville, as pitching coach Troy Hervey will come out and talk to his reliever.
Very special thanks to tonight's Split the Pot winner for donating the winnings back to the Chinooks Baseball Club. So very special thanks to the Split the Pot winner for donating the winnings back to the Chinooks Baseball Club. Now batting for the Bucs, third baseman number 30, Diego Vaquero.
So now Diego Vaquero will step up to the plate. He's 2 for 3 tonight with a hit by pitch. He's also scored a run here. So had a pretty decent night at the plate so far, and he'd love to continue that. especially in this RBI scenario. And the 0-0 is in there for a called strike. So good start there to this at-bat for Lansville. And the 0-1 is off speed, swung on and drilled out to reasonably deep center field as Will Batts moves over to make the catch. Tagging at third will be Cole Kerrigan. He will score. So a sacrifice fly for Diego Baquero as his good game continues. As now the Bucs will lead 6-2. As Garrett Ostrander will step up to the plate and look to keep this thing going, as it certainly has been tough sledding for the Chinooks tonight on pretty much all sides of the ball. And the 0-0 is in there for a called strike. So Garrett Ostrander is 1 for 3 with a walk and 2 strikeouts as well. So kind of a back and forth ball game for him at the plate. Started off with a hit and a walk and then has struck out twice since. So we'll see which side of the coin he lands on here, as that one's well outside. So the count moves to 1-1. And for Lansville at this point, you have to forget about the run that you've already given up and just kind of try and limit the damage, stop the bleeding. Get the boys back in the dugout, give their bats a chance to get something going. And that one's outside. So, interesting to see what the strategy will be here. To the 9-hole guy, in a 2-1 count, this late in the ball game. Will they go right after him? Will they try and chip away? Try and stay away from him? As that pitch is outside. So the count moves to 3-1. So good hitters count for Ostrander as he looks to do a little bit of damage. And at the very least, get that run home from third, or possibly walk here and keep the line moving as they would move to the top of the order. And that pitch is swung on and fouled straight back. And once again, the home plate umpire gets drilled. So we'll give him a couple of minutes. Hope he's okay. Obviously, nothing you could do about a foul ball that just comes back and hits you like that. So Magno will give him a couple of seconds to make sure he's all right. And he says that he's all right. So we'll keep going here. And to be fair, after getting hit twice like that, I'd be a little grumpy too. So the count is full here to Garrett Ostrander, and safe to say this is a huge pitch for both sides, and the 3-2 is swung on and fouled straight back. So the count remains full as Garrett Ostrander making Lansville work. Two on, 2 out, and a 3-2 count for the Bucs. And another full count as that one is flown down the right field line, foul and out of play.
Brought to you by Northwest Carpet Company.
And the 3-2 is swung on and fouled off again. So Ostrander putting up a pretty good fight here off Lansville. And at a certain point, Lansville's going to have to go with something other than a fastball. And we'll see if he has the confidence to do that right now. One of the most frustrating moments for a pitcher when just can't seem to put a guy away, and you don't have anything to work with, and that one is possibly upstairs. I couldn't exactly tell, but either way, that's ball 4. As Ostrander with a pretty fantastic at-bat, as he draws a walk, as now the bases will be loaded for Woody Hadeen, the leadoff batter for the Bucs. And he is 1 for 5 so far tonight. He had a double in his last at-bat. And he reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th. And the 0-0 is downstairs, so good start to the at-bat for Hadeen. The 1-0 from Lansville is swung on and hit foul down the third base line and out of play.
That foul ball brought to you by Bright Star Care.
Starting to get a little bit dark here. Obviously, it doesn't ever get completely dark here, but it is starting to, the light's starting to dim a little bit here at Lee Jordan Field. And Lansville fires his 1-1 pitch, and that hits him. So that'll be an RBI hit by pitch for Woody Hadeen. And now the Bucs lead 7-2. And that very well might be it for Lansville. And it will be. As now Justin Nevels will enter the ball game. So certainly a rough outing for Lansville, as that has been an outlier, this one so far, for not just him, but basically the whole Chinook pitching staff. As he'll just have to shake that off and get back on the bump next time. And so now with the Bucs lead at 7-2, Justin Nevels will take over on the mound. And just basically look to get out of the inning with no further damage, as the bases are loaded and 2 out. And he is facing Ernie Yake.
This Chinooks call to the bullpen is powered by Shop 180. Now pitching for the Chinooks, a freshman from Doane University and Chugiak, Alaska native, number 9, Justin Nevels. Now batting shortstop, number 16, Ernie Yake.
So Ernie Yake will pick up a bat for the Bucs here, as Justin Nevels fires in his first pitch for a strike, so a good sign for him, as he just looks to get one out here and get the Chinooks out of this inning and give them a chance to come back in this ball game and many more runs, and that chance might be fleeting. And that pitch is outside for ball 1. The 1-1 is swung on and popped down the left field line. Could be trouble. And Mullins couldn't snag it as that one's going to drop. So a rare miscue there from John Mark Mullins on admittedly a pretty tough play, but definitely a catchable ball from where he was at. So that means 2 runs will score here. As we're waiting on the official scorer's decision on whether that is a hit or an error.
Baseman number 26, Jake Skipworth.
As Jake Skipworth heads to the plate here. So the official score will be a hit on that, as that was a tough play. So that pitch is in there for a called strike. So a base hit for Ernie Yake as 2 runs score. So now with runner on second and third, Jake Skipworth will step up and look to keep things rolling for the Bucs, as they have put a hurting late on the Chinooks here. In the top of the 9th, they have gotten themselves quite a bit of insurance runs. And the 1-1 outside and possibly a little upstairs for ball 2. So tough break for Justin Nevels there, but a pretty good pitch to get himself out of the inning. And just another one of those unlucky plays that have seemed to go the Bucs' ways all night. And again, that's just baseball, and they did come into this game very, very hot as a ball club. And when you're hot, sometimes you're just hot. No matter what you do it right. And good things happen for you. You see it happen all the time, and it's happening here again. As the count moves to 3-1 on Skipworth, who has had a tough time at the plate tonight. He's 0 for 5 and has a chance to at least get himself something that he can take home. As that one is ripped straight back. Big swing there from Skipworth, and he didn't get it. So the count moves full here. Skipworth has done a pretty good job of putting the ball in play tonight at the very least. He only has 1 strikeout in his 5 at-bats. Just has not been very lucky tonight. So the 3-2 from Justin Nevels, and instead, Nevels steps off, resets, finally gets the pitch he wants, and the 3-2 is swung on and missed. So a good pitch there as he gets Skipworth swinging to end the inning, but the Bucs strike for 4 runs in the top of the 9th, and it's going to be tough for the Chinooks to come back, but certainly not impossible, as they will look to do just that as we head to the bottom of the 9th.
Very low, especially with our defense. Yeah, that was just a missed ball. I mean, he had it. That's all right. Get it all over in one game. I think you had won 8 games. Got a present for you.
The Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks would like to extend a friendly reminder that the next time you can catch your Chinooks right here at Lee Jordan Field is Thursday, June 24th, in the first of a 2-game set against the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. Both games begin at 7 p.m.
He took the midnight train going anywhere. A singer in a smoky room. It's alright.
Leading off the bottom of the 9th for the Chinooks, a left fielder from Northwest Nazarene.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live for the bottom of the 9th here, as the Chinooks trail big in this one, 9-2, and we certainly have not seen this so far this year, as that one gets by the catcher. So Alex Reels will remain in the game despite the long wait he's had the last inning. So thank you all for joining us here on the Chinooks Radio Network. We appreciate you sticking around, for those of you who have. As that pitch is outside. So Hayden Keller will lead off the ninth. He's 1 for 3 so far. He had a 2 RBI single in the first inning, and that has pretty much been the entirety of the offense for the Chinooks in this one. But he's worked himself a 3-0 count here, so that would certainly be a good start to the inning for the Chinooks if he can get on base. And that pitch is in there for a called strike. So Reels fires one in there. And still a really good hitter's count for Keller, though. And the 3-1 is also in there for strike 2. So Reels fires back and gets the count full after falling behind 3-0. So we'll see how this thing goes. Can Keller fight back? And strike 3. Tough call there, but unfortunately a lot of things have not gone the Chinooks' way tonight. And obviously the home plate umpire is hearing it from Coach Groth over there at third base. Obviously it has been a frustrating night for the Chinooks as Keller goes down looking, and a tough way to start the ninth, but unfortunately that'll be the hat trick for Keller. And it'll also be the first out of the inning, so Chinooks down their last 2 outs as that one's popped up and will be caught over there at first base by Jake Skipworth for the second out of the inning. So as I say, they're down to their final 2 outs. They're now down to their final 1. And with a 7-run lead, it's certainly going to be tough sledding for the Chinooks if they're going to make a comeback. As Matt Magno steps up to the plate. He's 0 for 3 so far tonight. And the 0-0 to Magno is swung on and grounded to second base. Hayden will throw over to first for out number 3, and that will do it, ladies and gentlemen. So certainly a tough night at the ballpark for the Chinooks, as the Anchorage Bucs dominated basically from the opening salvo in this one. And the Bucs are now winners of 4 in a row, and the 4-game winning streak for the Chinooks has evaporated, as well as the scoreless streak, because my goodness, the Bucs absolutely hit the ball tonight. They played very, very well, and they showcased how talented they are. We all knew that they were way too talented to stay at the bottom of the standings, and they certainly have shown that recently. They are playing really good baseball right now, and you have to tip your cap to them, as they are certainly a very good team. And for the Chinooks, tough day at the ballpark for pretty much every facet of the game, pitching, hitting, defense, and that's going to happen every once in a while. You're just going to have those days where it doesn't seem like anything goes your way, and that was certainly today for the Chinooks. So with that, the Chinooks moved to 8-5 on the season, still in first place on the season, so hasn't affected the standings too much, but they will certainly look forward to these 2 days off to try and bounce back from the tough loss today. And it's a much-needed rest, as, again, the Chinooks have played by far the most games in the league this year, as this was game number 13 for them, and the rest of the league have played 10 or less games so far. So certainly going to be looking forward to getting a couple of days off and resting everybody's arms, everybody's legs, things of that nature. So, from all of us here at the Chinooks family to all of you at home, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. I'm Tyler Lopes, and I've been joined tonight by my partner, Aaron Davis. We'd like to thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again very soon. Actually, one more quick announcement. I would like to say when our next game actually is. It will be the 21st. At the Anchorage Stadium, we will be playing the Anchorage Pilots. So for those of you who want to check that stream out, please do. And that will, again, be the Monday the 21st at 7 o'clock. Thank you so much.